Hi guys, welcome to the intro episode of A Trip of a Lifetime podcast. I'm Celeste, my pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
I'm Jasmine, my pronouns are she and her.
And today we're just here to explain what this podcast is going to be about and just, a bit about us as Doctor Who fans. So Jasmine, who's your favourite Doctor?
My favourite Doctor is the 11th Doctor, played by Matt Smith.
Any particular reason, or just because you like him?
That, and also he's really cool. I love his bow ties and his feathers and all his really cool lines.
Yeah, I think my favourite's probably 10, partially for nostalgia reasons, and I had a massive crush on him when I was a kid, so there's that. How about your favourite season?
My favourite season is the 5th season because, well, Matt Smith's in it, and also it's the one I've seen the most, and it has some really iconic episodes. What about you?
It's gotta be series 3. I mean, Martha, 10th Doctor, The Master, and it's got some really great episodes like Blink, so that are always really fun to watch. Favourite companion? Mine's Martha, because I love her. She's very underrated, but I just love her intelligence, the fact that she knows what she wants and she won't stand for any rubbish.
My favourites are Donna, Amy and River's Song, because they're strong female leads, and also they're comedic and powerful.
Yeah. What was the first episode you ever watched of the show? What really hooked you into watching it?
I can't remember the name.
Okay, just describe it to me.
Yeah, it's the two-parter with a shielder in it.
Oh, so the girl who lived and the woman who died. That's the two-parter. Series 9, I think? Yeah.
I watched the woman who died first before I watched the girl who lived, which is just strange.
I mean, I watched River's Arc completely out of order. I feel like most Whovians have watched something in a really random order, especially if they didn't start watching it as a kid. Or, with, season 1. My first episode was Vampires of Venice. Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's not a fantastic episode, but I have a lot of nostalgia for it because of that. Yeah, what's your favourite era?
Matt Smith era, because I love Matt Smith, and some of the moments and storylines, especially River's Arc. I know obviously River's Arc started in the David Tennant era, but her main arc was there and I really liked it. What about you?
It's got to be RTD's era. I mean, I'm a bit of an RTD stan. I'm gonna try and not let that bias my opinions of all the upcoming episodes, but I do love him as a writer. Because I've just finished reading The Writer's Tale by him and Benjamin Cook. It's a really fascinating insight, not into just his mind personally, but also into the mind of a screenwriter and, how much work they do, and especially on a show like Doctor Who. And yeah, it's just really interesting. So this podcast is mainly about reviewing episodes to do with Doctor Who, but we're not just doing the main show, we're also going to be doing the spin-offs as well. And as New Who, Torchwood and Class are the most available to us at the moment, it's on iPlayer for free in the UK, that is what we're going to be starting with. So we'll start off with Doctor Who Series 1 and 2 back to back, then we'll do Torchwood Series 1, then Doctor Who Series 3, Torchwood Season 2, Doctor Who Series 4, Torchwood Children of Earth, Doctor Who Series 5, Torchwood Miracle Day, then Doctor Who Series 6 through to 9, then we'll do Class, then Doctor Who Series 10 through to present, and we'll keep reviewing new episodes as and when they come out. And then once we finish that, we'll move on to Sarah Jane Adventures, and then Classic Who. It's a bit harder to get a hold of them, because we'll either have to get the DVDs or get a subscription to BritBox, both of which are quite expensive. So, yeah, we're just going to see how this podcast develops. Have you ever watched Torchwood or Class?
I've seen most of Torchwood, but I've only seen the first 3 seasons because most of my favourite characters got killed off.
Spoilers. Yeah, that's true. I've seen up to season 2. At the end, well, I've seen the first episode of Children of Earth, but I've seen the whole of the first 2 seasons of Torchwood. I didn't carry on for a reason that is a spoiler, because I'm not sure if I can handle it yet. But Have you watched Glass? I have. I really enjoyed it when it came out. I thought it was really interesting concept, very different, and I thought it was a bit of a shame that it didn't get a second season. But that was, I think, partially to do with how different it was, and partially to do with it was released at a really weird time for BBC Three. How about you?
I've seen odd episodes here and there because I had to study the first episode for my media class, and we had to compare it with the first ever Doctor Who episode, which was a very fun experience.
Yeah, but just not the whole thing. That's fair enough. I think it's very underrated, and a lot of Doctor Who fans did skip it because it was so different. But I think it's very worth watching. When was the last time you watched a Sarah Jane Adventures episode?
When I was very little, because I can't remember anything. I've watched odd clips on YouTube here and there, but I cannot find any episodes that are full.
Yeah. When was the last time I think it wasn't actually that long ago for me because I did have the Series 3 DVD, which I got rid of stupidly a few years ago. But because it's the season with the wedding of Sarah Jane Smith with the 10th Doctor in it, and also The Gift, which follows it, which has got the Blatherine in it, and I really love those two episodes, so I'd rewatch them not like every year, but like every so often. So it must have been about 3-4 years ago now that I last watched that. But other than those two episodes, it's been, well, since they aired really that I've watched them. What about Classic Who?
I have a few of the first Doctor, but I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes, not much of Classic Who. I want to see more though.
Yeah, I've watched maybe 1-2 storylines, but they were mainly on the background because it was quite a few years ago now. I think I must have been about year 7, so 6-7 years ago now. Drama, the TV channel, what they did is they had an event where for a few weeks they or I think it was once every week they'd show one serial from each Doctor from 1 to 8, finishing with the TV movie. And I remember seeing a couple of them, like Spearhead from Space, the one with the second Doctor with the Cyberman where they burst out of the pod things. Can't remember what that one's called. It might be Terror of the Cybermen or something like that. I don't think that is the title. And then I think I saw a bit of the episode where Adric dies with the Fifth Doctor. I can't remember the name of that one either. No, I don't expect you to know the name either, but I remember seeing bits of that, and I also saw a bit of the television movie as well. But it's been a long time, and again, I wasn't really paying attention because I was 11, 12, so like it's an old TV show. Sure, it's Doctor Who, which I love, but it's an old TV show that it's the way they film it and the pacing is very different, and so it's hard for a child to watch it in if they're not used to that kind of media, I guess. How long have you actually been watching Doctor Who for? Just as a question, when did you start watching?
Since I was about 12 and I had my teeth taken out.
Is that where you started watching, just for something like as a comfort show or something?
That's when I started watching it properly with some lovely Angel Delights, but I did it in a very weird order. I watched The Mummy on the Orient Express and then Let's Kill Hitler.
Yeah, Let's Go Hitler's a really weird one to watch out of context, so I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's a fun episode, it's not great, but it's fun. Yeah, it's just, if you don't have the context of River, you're gonna be so confused, so... God, what was... When did I started... I think I was about 6 when I started watching. Which is, I suppose, is quite young, but I had... When I was in year 1, we had a topic with Doctor Who and Sarah Jane Adventures for, like, a term. And so I think I was already watching Sarah Jane Adventures. I was really enjoying it, and so my parents, just because, Series 5 was airing, that's why I started with Vampires of Venice, because it was partway through the series. And they used that episode to try me on it, if you like, because I remember when I was literally about a year earlier, or not even a year earlier, I think it was The Next Doctor was on TV with the Cyber King. Oh, it must have been 2 years earlier, and it was, I got really freaked out by that episode. Like, my mum remembered, she was so surprised when I liked Vampires of Venice. She's like, oh, you were so scared like a year ago. And I was like, oh, like, I mean... because I don't really have much of that memory. I remember vaguely seeing the right at the end of that episode where like the Doctor goes back into the TARDIS. I vaguely remember that, but other than that, I don't remember ever watching that episode the first time. But yeah, did you have any memories of Doctor Who prior to like first watching it? Whether it was like an advert or someone talking about it or anything like that.
My dad used to watch it when I went to sleep, and he let me watch an episode from David Tennant's era, and I got really scared, so I never watched it again. And my dad's been trying to get me into it for years, and then I finally did when I turned 12, or when I got my teeth out. And in my final year of primary school, we used to play a game called Find the TARDIS, and they used to hide TARDISes around in the last month or so of school.
Oh, that's so cool.
So we were in rehearsal for a play,
Yeah.
and like behind the board there would be a TARDIS.
Huh, that's cool. I think that's about it for this intro. Yes, that's a bit about us and our preferences and why we love this show so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Our first proper episode where we review Rose will be out at the same time as this intro, so hopefully you'll stick around for that first episode. And yeah, see you next time.
It's gonna be a great episode.